We did carry out our nuclear tests in 1998. And tiny little countries from Europe decided that they would sanction us. And they used to give us great lectures on the danger of nuclear proliferation. We said, why don't you go and tell your uncles, the Soviet Union, China, the United States? No, that they wouldn't do it. We are a good people. We are unassuming people. We don't fight back. We're not trained to be aggressive. So we would accept it. But then the feeling came in the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, during the Vajpayee years, that enough is enough. We don't really need their money. So when they would come to tell us that, all right, this is the aid I'm giving you for this year, we'd say, happy birthday. Thank you, but no thank you. Give it to the NGOs, give it to whoever you want, but nothing on government account, except for political reasons, we said, all right, we'll take it from America, we'll take it from Germany, we'll take it from Japan. At that time, it was Russia. We'll take it from them, but from nobody else. And remember that the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 had also impacted us very badly. Yes. So we decided in 2003, no more foreign aid. The British got very angry. How dare you not take money from us? We said, we don't need it. In any case, what you're giving us is peanuts. And I'm quoting the then finance minister who later became the president of the Republic and passed away some years ago. So they insisted. And finally, we had to, in our negotiations, tell them that, look, if you really insist, we'll take it. But on condition that, assume you're giving us X million pounds, then you must take X plus 1 million pounds from us as our aid to you. And that, of course, was, they thought we were being funny, but we were quite serious. And so it died. 2004, the tsunami came. I was your ambassador in Armenia and Georgia. The Armenians are very good people. They look up to India. So many NGOs came, contacted us and said, we don't have too much money, but we'd like to go and help. So we said, fine. We had instructions from Delhi. We said, we'll give you visas. There's no issue. Then there were some American NGOs also and from Europe. They said, all right, we are going. So what about the arrangement? So we said, what arrangement? And where will we stay? We said, you go stay on the beach. We have no time to find housing for you or anything. And if there is massive flooding on the beach, if the waves come in and wash you away, we'll find your body, we'll send it to your families. There's nothing else we can do because our chaps are very busy, in search and rescue operations, and we're trying to feed the people who have been affected by the tsunami. Well, let me tell you that a grand total of 0 NGOs came to help us, and we decided that we would handle it, and we did a very good job. Now, of course, we advise other countries on how to deal with natural disasters. I also remember we had that massive earthquake in Bhuj in 2001. And I was posted in Spain. Spanish are very nice people. So I was visiting the Canary Islands. This is in January of 2001. And a radio station came up and said, we'd like to interview you. And I said, certainly. They said, well, so how much assistance has the Canary Islands promised you? Part of Spain. I said, I haven't come here to look for assistance. They said, what have you come here for? Happy birthday. I came to enjoy the beaches. Now the earthquake has come. It didn't give us any warning, so I'm going back. The Spanish are very generous people, so they sent a whole bunch of overcoats to us. Now in Bhuj, you don't use overcoats. The temperature is in the 30s around the year. So we had to politely tell them, or we just threw them away. That is sequentially, step by step, your national self-confidence started coming back. The Chinese talk of their comprehensive national power. We talk of our comprehensive national willpower. That started returning. And suddenly we said, guys, we can handle this ourselves. 2016, with the present government, we went into across the border. And we, in Pakistan, occupied Kashmir, and we smoked those terrorists out of their homes. They didn't know what had hit them. And in 2019, we went into the territory of Pakistan proper and blasted those training camps. So whatever people will argue, you didn't kill so many, instead of 300, you killed 299. Well, happy birthday, you can argue till the cows come home. The fact is that India's resolve was demonstrated. And we've not had anything on that scale which provoked that attack, the Pulwama thing, since then. Galwan, 2020, last year, we broke China's front teeth. They didn't realize that India would respond in the way we did. China seeks to overawe the countries that it thinks are its adversaries merely by its bulk and size. We were not going to be overawed. We fought back ferociously. They were absolutely horrified. That is again a milestone in the world's assessment of India. I was in the United States when this happened. And so many people came up to me because the virus had been unleashed by then. Right. So many people came up to me and said, well done, India. Thanks for smashing those fellows. Now we know that all this nonsense, they are invincible, unstoppable, is pure nonsense. It's a fantasy. So they said, thank you, India. Actually, we proved it, son, that the PLA is a paper dragon, the People's Liberation Army. Nobody else had done it. We did it. Now, Vietnamese had fought them and thrashed them badly, but that was in 1979. It was 40 years before they messed around with us. So in the 21st century, we were the only country that gave them a bloody nose. And the world was, take my word for it, the world was delighted that China had been exposed for the aggressive bully that it is, and a coward at heart. Then 2021, we healed the world with our vaccine. You like Donald Trump, you don't like him, it doesn't matter. He was the constitutionally mandated president of the United States. And when we sent our hydroxychloroquine and whatever, paracetamol or whatever he wanted, and we removed the ban on its export. Yes. So that was what the government felt should have been done. He tweeted, India has been great. We shall never forget. It made me feel 6 inches taller. Again, I was in New York and I would take my morning walk with my group of friends in Manhattan, and they would just turn around and anybody passing by saying, you know, imagine, we would hear people talking, imagine India, we never believed that India could do this. India has these medicines. And then they found out I was Indian, it'd be, thank you, India, thank you, India. It was absolutely wonderful to get that. It is the best time to be in the United States as an Indian. Why did we send our vaccines to 80, 90, 100 countries? Why did we have to do it? 80 million doses, 90 million doses, whatever the figure is, as gifts. The Americans had a movement, Black Lives Matter. Let me assure you, son, for us, all lives matter. That is our tradition. And one of India's great thinkers was a man called Chanakya, also known as Kautilya. He had said, it's in sickness you know who your friend is because he stands by you. We proved that. You know, we are a very good people. China sent its visiting card to 200 countries. It said virus. We sent ours. It said vaccine. And I can tell you the kind of praise and appreciation we received from every part of the world. Many of my friends from, and I'm being very open about this, from Pakistan told me that they did get that Chinese garbage. They said, we only wish our government had been wiser and taken it from you because yours is far better in quality as well as in price. When we gave vaccines to our neighboring countries, for example, Bangladesh or Nepal or Sri Lanka, wherever, we would send them on Air India planes. Yes. As a gift. A gift is a gift is a gift. So the Pakistani foreign minister rushed off to China and said, please give us some vaccines. They should send your aircraft, pay the parking charges, and we'll give them. We'll give you the vaccines, but everything else you have to pay for. That's China. The only god they worship is called the dollar. Otherwise, it's an atheist country. And then in 2021, this year, I don't know if you've seen the latest National Family Health Survey. For the first time in our history, we have, for every 1,000 males, we have 1,020 females. The ratio in 2015, 6 years ago, was 900 females to 1,000 males. It is now 1,020 females to 1,000 males. And across the nation, the total fertility rate is 2.0, which is the replacement rate, which is hum do, hamare do kind of thing. So when my wife and I transition, we will leave the planet, our kids are here. When they transition, they'll have 2 kids each, etc. That's how it goes. So 2.0, we say 2.1 because the 0.1 is for natural disasters, wars, illness, etc. But we have reached 2. And some states, surprise, surprise, like Punjab and West Bengal are at 1.6. Effectively, the population is declining. Now, it doesn't mean that we'll start declining from tomorrow, but all these predictions that we'll stabilize at 1.7 billion, 1.8 billion, we'll starve, we'll do this, we'll do that. No. The people of India are much smarter than many would imagine. I haven't, and I mean this with total sincerity, I haven't met a young Indian couple since 2010 who got married who got married after 2000, starting 2000, who have more than 2 children. I make it a point when I take an Uber or an Ola to ask the drivers. And I talk to them in Hindi. Kitna pade ho yo? Sir, class 4. Kyun bhai? Sir, bahut samasya thi family mein, financial issues, so I had to leave to help my parents. Okay. How many brothers and sisters are you? So we were 4 brothers and 5 sisters, or whatever the figure. And I said, all right, now you are married? Yeah. Bacche kitne hain? Sir, 2 betiyan hain. Are, sirf 2? Tum to itne sare? Nahi sir. Bas 2 bahut hai sir. And I said, beti ko padhaoge to sahi, kam se kam tum to 4th class tak padhe ho. Are sir, agar padhengi nahi to badhengi kaise? Now this is the man who gives you service. He's your service provider. My newspaper fellow. Yes. The chap who comes to take the raddi, the kabadi wala. I talk to these young kids. I said, how many children? I haven't come across any who has more than 2, which means the message has gone across. Yeah. And we are very, very proud that the people of India have responded in the way that they should. So, son, this is what we have been through. And finally, there is something that I'm very proud of. 2 years ago, this American diplomat, Alisa Iris, published a book. It says, our time has come. How India is making its place in the world. We didn't write it. We didn't pay her to write it. She just talked about India's emergence. Yes. And I joke with my friends that this book is a bestseller in Pakistan. Barack Obama came in October 2013, right. Told American children, people from South India, he was referring to Bengaluru, right. They are competing with you directly, working every day to out-educate and out-compete us. He's telling American kids this. Right. So he came to India twice as president, the first time any American president has done this. Right. It's a hyperpower. And then he came again 3 years ago, 3 times. Bill Gates, exactly a year ago, Singapore FinTech Festival. He says, things are really exploding in India. Study that country. Innovation in India is phenomenal. These are not my words. Right? Geo, the cheapest market for mobile internet data since 2017. By the way, if you ever get a chance to meet Shri Bill Gates, please ask him a question from my side. Sir, your name is Gates. Why do you make windows? Ask him that. India's total private wealth this year, 2021, estimated to be $8.2 trillion. Trillion has 12 zeros.
Right.
Sixth largest in the world, just behind Germany and the UK, according to the Global Wealth Migration Review. What do we spend it on? Take a guess. I'll tell you what it is. Number one, we are spending it on looking better.
Okay.
Better clothes, better shoes, better hairstyles. There are 650,000 towns and villages in India, and I have 15 million beauty parlors. That's why our women are the best looking in the world. We are eating more. All this wiggy, piggy, whatever it's called, tomato, all that is McDonald's or Domino's may not be eating better, but the fact is that we are spending money. We know now we don't need to go out to eat. From the out, it comes to our homes that we can eat. We are living better homes. I don't know. You are at the moment in one of the most beautiful parts of India. You're in Telangana, you're in Hyderabad. When you travel into the countryside, I don't know if you see huts anymore. I haven't seen any.
Yeah.
Very rare, very, very rare. You won't see people starving. You won't see people with torn clothes. Not anymore. We are eating better. We're traveling better. Last year was the virus, but 2019, we had 150 million air travelers.
Right.
And they made 2 billion visits. Which is for Indian national, which doesn't mean that every Indian traveled, but those who traveled, somebody did 10, 12, the total was 2 billion. We are communicating better. We have 1.6 billion mobile connections, 2021. And may I say something that's very interesting? Out of the mobile connections that we have, we are told that about 1 billion are smartphones.
Right.
Look at this. Even your auto driver, your sabjiwala, your dhobi, whoever service provider, they are all using mobile phones. And then, of course, we are enjoying better, etc. And health and education, we are spending a lot of money. We are the people of India. Virus or no virus, the health clubs have reopened, so people are going there. Rising global profile, the Yoga Resolution 2015, co-sponsored by 177 out of the UN's 193 members, the largest co-sponsorship in UN history. We listened to the speeches when it was being discussed. There was no voting because 177 said, this is my resolution.
Right.
So there's no question of having a vote. And one fellow said, my country, from a European nation, my country supports yoga because India is the spiritual mother of all mankind. What do you say to the man? I felt like going and kissing him on both cheeks. I said, thank you for recognizing this.
Yes.
Yemen, 2015, July, civil war. Nationals from 41 countries stuck in Yemen. They said, sorry, only the Indians can come to get them out, nobody else. And then we asked the Saudis, would you kindly stop bombing Aden for a while so that we can get these guys out? And we did bring them out.
Yes.
We brought out some Frenchmen. That year in November, I was in Paris when the attacks took place, November of 2015.
Okay.
A young immigration officer at Charles de Gaulle Airport saw my passport. And he said, Ambassador of India? I said, yeah, because I carry a diplomatic passport.
Yes.
It says ambassador.
Yes.
So he says, well, you brought 200 Frenchmen out of Yemen. I said, if we made a mistake, we'll take them back. You just tell me what we should do. And then he stood up, he smiled, saluted me, and he says, thank you, India. Look at the way things are going. 1969, we were invited to the founding conference of what became the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Morocco. We were unanimously invited, but then Pakistan threw a fit. And we were uninvited after we had reached there. We couldn't attend it 50 years later, when they had their 50th anniversary of their foreign ministers meeting, who was the guest of honor? India. Not many will remember that in September 2019, 2 years ago, at the Eastern Development Forum in Vladivostok, your Prime Minister makes an announcement that the USSR and Russia stood by us in our moment of need. You are now under pressure because of Western sanctions. So India gives you a soft loan of $1 billion, 7,500 crores. Use it for whatever you want. No international media will cover that.
Yes.
How can India be giving a loan? India can. India has the strength to do it. So I'm seeing this comprehensive self-confidence rising.
Absolutely.
And I'm delighted that I'm still alive to see it. The pessimism has gone. Excessive pessimism does not empower you. It paralyzes you. It makes you feel helpless and hopeless. At the height of the Kargil conflict, and this is a true story, 1999, this young kid approached an army recruitment center and said, I'd like to join the army. Both his legs were cut off below the knee, train accident. And somebody said, son, it may be difficult with your handicap. What was his answer? Sir, I have come to fight the enemy, not to run away from the enemy. Look at this, the spirit of this kid. I'm sure they gave him a job somewhere. Then we had this massive earthquake in Sikkim, 2011. The road from Gangtok, the capital of Sikkim, to Siliguri in West Bengal was broken in 300 places. The mountain breaks, carries the road with it. How long can you go feeding the people of Sikkim by helicopter?
Okay.
You have to send essential supplies. You have to repair the road. It's the only road, by the way. It's the lifeline. Now I believe we are building something else. So we asked the Austrians, who are the best in the world in mountain roads, the country is very mountainous. They said 6 weeks after we get our heavy equipment there. Because on Google Earth these days, you can see everything. We couldn't wait 6 weeks. I was there with the Doordarshan team. I was filming the relief and rescue efforts. It was a terrible time for us. Well, of course, we had told all the Videshis that thank you, but no thank you. We'll deal with this. We know how to deal with it. Then the then Prime Minister said, ask India's border roads. We did. And as I sit before you today, the then Director General, whom I know very well, he said, we are going to do an assessment and we'll come back and tell you how long it'll take. But first, let's find out. 19 hours later, he called, 19 hours later, to say the road is open. So when we set our minds to something, we're unstoppable.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.